Okay, so we'll start out in a child's pose, walking your hands out as far as you like. You can start to hang your head, hopefully eventually drop it on the floor. And we'll spend a few minutes here just being really still and just grounding, kind of transitioning into being really aware of the moment as it unfolds. Give yourself a little time, give your mind a little time to release engagement with all the responsibilities that we have and the roles that we fulfill. And then just for a moment, let yourself just be. Exactly how you are, exactly where you are. And of course, breathing deeply here is going to really help involve and engage all the muscles of your back, allowing greater ease with each breath. And think of lighting up your whole back from the inside as you breathe. Child's pose is great. I think it's a really great way to just relax to begin a practice, because it's removing, right, the secondary curves in your spine. It's removing your cervical curve and your lumbar curve. It kind of flattens and neutralizes them. And it should feel like a great relief across those two spaces, across the lumbar spine, your low back. Okay, so feel great relief there, hopefully. And also across the back of your neck as it neutralizes your cervical spine. Allow your shoulder blades to kind of melt toward the floor. The hips are sinking more with each moment. And begin to tune into your body, noticing every little thing, every sensation. See if you could really use your imagination here and do a body scan. Create a whole map of your body in your head. Okay, pull up that map and notice everything from the top of your head, rolling down your shoulders to your arms. And roll that awareness down your torso, your back, your belly, your hips, and down to your legs and your feet. Maybe starting practice with some gratitude today, just for a body that works. And let's do a little breath game here. With your next breath, try to take in as much as you can. So make your biggest breath in, and then pause at the very top and sip in a little bit more, kind of like this. And then a little more. A little more. Maybe a little bit more, and let's hold. And then release the breath. Maybe press out more. See if you could completely press out all the air in your torso. Pause at the bottom. Press out more. More. A little bit more. And hold. And try it maybe 3 more rounds, just like that. If you like it, try that big breath pattern. Okay, you don't have to strain yourself or make it too stressful. Just play with inflating fully and holding it. Okay, try to relax when you're holding the breath. Notice if you tend to hold tension there and soften as you hold the breath. And with your exhales, do the same thing. Exhale completely, just finding your own rhythm whenever it happens. But when you do exhale, hold it at the bottom of the exhale. No air in your lungs. And see if you're holding tension. Relax that tension as you hold your breath. Okay, maybe 1 or 2 more rounds like that, just nice and slow. And then let your breath return to something more normal. Okay, as you're ready, coming back to a more natural pace. Okay, we've been in this child's pose for quite a long time. Go ahead and reach your hands out away from your hips and pull yourself up. It's going to take some time, maybe. We were there in that child's pose for a long time. All right, so we'll maybe need to wake up the hips a little bit after all that compression. So really ground into your hands here. Think of lifting your heart up away from the floor. So you're making a strong bridge shape with your body here. Your bridge is very strong, equally pushing down into all the pillars. Okay? And from here with your strong bridge, could we lift the right knee? Okay? And just start to circle out the right knee. Nice and slow. Just waking up your hip. So as you move, do your best to keep the right hip pretty level with your left. And let's rewind that a few times. Okay, should be hopefully bringing a little bit more fluidity with each round. As things get moving. Okay, now we're going to release that restriction on the right hip. We're going to let it lift up and over the left, creating a really big circle. So make the right hip move a lot here. Big knee circles. Okay, I want you to feel your low back moving, your back, your both hips. And now let's rewind that knee circle, just keeping everything symmetrical. Okay, and then next time that right knee comes forward, pause it there. We're going to step the right foot outside that right hand, coming into a little lunge. So because it's the first lunge and it might be a little tense in your right hamstring or your left hip, you can do your fingertips here under your shoulders. And we're just going to kind of gently rock the hips around, forth and back. Okay, forward. We're opening that left front of your hip. Backward, we're opening the back of the right leg. Okay, if you like the opening in the back of the right leg, you can start to kind of increase it to your taste. Please use your right ankle as your helper. The more you flex that right foot and try to point the toes up at the sky, okay, really point them up, the more you can open up in the back of the right leg. Okay, and for your last few back and forths here, you might even want to pick up the back knee to spice it up a little and rock the hips without the knee down. Okay, just only if that feels nice. Just waking up your legs. Okay, and we'll bring it back down to hands and knees, or to the back knee down if you lifted it, back to your hands on the floor if you were on your fingertips. And now we'll bring it back to hands and knees. Okay, tuck your toes here just to get you off your hands and knees for a bit. Walk your hands back to your feet and just hang your upper body. Okay. Think really floppy and low here. Put a really generous bend in your knees. See if you could let your head hang utterly soft in the neck. And allow some swaying side to side. You can straighten one leg more than the other. Giving your spine some hang time. And also giving your organs a nice inversion. Okay, so grounding and energizing to just invert your body every now and then. Okay, from here, palms are coming back down to the ground. I'm going to walk them forward and come back to hands and knees. And we'll do the other side. So this time, the left knee coming up, okay? We have a strong bridge shape, the body pushing the floor, all the things pushing down. And here, the left knee can start to move in a circle. So let's keep the hips level for now. Okay, and that's just going to challenge you to use more of that outer hip on the left. And rewind it. Just kind of saying good morning to that hip. We're using the whole thing. Okay, now let's lift the left hip. Let's open up the circle. Make it as big as you can. Big circle. And of course, rewind it a few times. All right. Feels nice in that hip and in the low back. So next time you swing that left knee forward, just pause it there. See if you could step it outside the left hand, okay? And coming up on your fingertips might help you feel more spacious here, like you can still keep a long spine. So try that out. And we're just gonna rock and roll it a little bit. So this is a good time to notice if one hamstring is tighter than the other. For example, I just noticed that my left hamstring is much tighter than my right. So you can feel it when you pull back. Okay, so if you want a little more release here, and only if it feels good, you want to really flex into your left ankle, trying to point the toes up. Okay, maybe just a few more rounds like this. Starting to wake your legs up. All right, for your last few, you might want to pick up the back knee. Who knows? And do it with the hips floating further away from the ground. Okay, so we're going to come back down through a low lunge with the back knee down. Take your time, palms back down, and then we'll come down to hands and knees again. Swing that left leg back. Okay, and let's hang again. Again, give your wrist a break. So tuck your toes, lift your knees, walk your hands back to your feet, and just hang. Okay, might feel good here to grab your elbows. Grab opposite elbows, and think of moving your elbows back away from the direction you're looking. So I like to think of drawing my shoulder blades down the back here and making a picture frame around the head. So it should feel like a really nice release in the back of your neck. Okay, the longer we can make that neck here, the better. Maybe again, bending into one knee more than the other so you sway. Feels good in the sides of the low back when you do that. All right, as you're ready, release your hands back to the floor. Bring them forward to hands and knees again. Okay, but for this hands and knees, we'll stick the right leg all the way out behind. Okay, and again, make your bridge up and away from the floor. And we're going to start to move the right leg over to the left. see how far over to the left you can cross it, okay? Maybe it goes all the way off your mat. And I want to encourage you to take it as far as you can so that you feel your right inner thigh is a little bit challenged. And then tap the floor over there. Okay, now lift the right leg through center. Okay, bring it over center, all the way to the right, further out to the right. Now, how far forward? So toward the top part of your mat, could you bring that right foot? Tap it down there. So we're kind of playing with the range of motion in the right hip. Just find an acceptable range of motion for you. Let's do it a few more times. Okay, let's bring the right leg all the way up. Make a rainbow shape. Rainbow over to the left. Cross as far as you can. Rainbow over to the right. So I want to remind you to lift your belly high. It's going to try to drop maybe, but keep it lifted. To the left and to the right. Keep breathing. Let's do 3 more. Nice work for that right hip, left hip, inner thigh. Two more. Last one. Cross. And over. Okay, bring it back to center here. Drop that right heel to the floor, or drop the right toes to the floor, right behind you, okay? And then give a little tuck in the toes so you can push back through the heel and a nice little calf stretch there, okay? Feels good in the right calf. Okay, pushing back through the heel. Maybe even decide you want to float your left knee up off the floor. Just a little bit of core engagement there. Maybe one more big breath in your little calf stretch. And let it go. Release the knee to the floor, the left knee, if you picked it up. Okay, let's transition this into a supported side plank. So spin on your left knee and point it out to the left, okay? And then you can drop the right heel and reach that right hand up, and we are magically in a supported side plank. I will spin around to face you now. Okay, but we are in the same place. So take some time arranging yourself. I find it really helpful to have the left knee directly under the left hip rather than anywhere else, okay? Just to be extra supportive, and the same with the right hand and the left hand and the left shoulder. So take your time. We want to start to ground the outer edge of the right foot. That's the far away foot. Think of sealing the outer edge down watertight, which should feel really nice in your ankle. And then strengthen your arch by lifting that right arch up and away from the floor. Think about just enough so a ladybug could hide under there. And then we're going to reach the right hand very far away from the right foot. Take a few breaths here. This is a big right side stretch. Should feel awesome, okay? But if you need to come down, you can always sit your hips down as well. From here, make your longest neck by drawing your shoulder blades away from your ears and strengthening your belly inward. We're going to move the right shoulder around here. So energize the hand, stretch it out like a tiger claw, and we'll start circling out the right shoulder. Getting that whole shoulder joint involved. Okay, gentle but active. Energize the fingers, energize every part of the arm and the shoulder and the back and the chest. Now let's rewind it, but this time push through the palm. So you're flexing your wrist. Should feel like a shoulder massage, okay? All right, next time that right shoulder reaches up, just rest there for a moment. You can enjoy that warmth we created in the shoulder. You might choose to stretch your chest here by looking up at the ceiling underneath that right arm. Remember to keep both shoulders active if you do that. Or you might want to add a little side stretch by reaching the right hand away from your right foot. So in other words, reach wherever it feels nice and keep breathing. Maybe close your eyes here. Remember to push that floor down. Really nice stretch all across the right side of your back. So use it. You can move around. Maybe one more big, fantastic breath here, opening up that whole rib cage. Okay, let's come down the same way we came in, dropping the right hand and spinning it back to hands and knees. Come on back. Okay, let's get you off of that left wrist. Tuck your toes, lift your hips, walk your hands back to your feet and hang. Ooh. Okay, it might feel good to join your hands behind your back here, kind of moving them away from you. Okay, do your best to let the spine hang down between your shoulders, so lengthen that neck. Always adding a little sway if it feels nice. Okay, release your hands as you're ready. And we're gonna come back down and forward to hands and knees. So walk it forward, hands and knees. Let's do the other side. So here we have the left leg out behind. Okay, still really strong in your upper body, pushing the floor down. And we're gonna swing the left leg over to the right. So crossing the midline, hold over there. How far can you cross? So you wanna feel that left inner thigh engaging and being a little challenged. Okay, remember to keep your belly strong and lifted. And now let's swing it over to the left. Let's see how far forward could you bring it. Swing it that far forward, okay, and then tap it down. So those are the two ends of your rainbow. Okay, lift up to the other side of the rainbow. So we're gonna take, I'd like to do about 6 rainbows overall, okay? So just find a nice and slow pace that you can enjoy and control. Okay, exploring range of motion in your hip. Although it's challenging, do your best to minimize the hip wobble, the wobbling of the hips here. It's very tempting to wobble them all around. Do your best. Rainbows, creating strength on the sides of the hip. Creating strength on the sides of the legs. Okay, just a couple more. Just enjoying, doesn't really matter how many you do, right? Just how nice they feel is most important. And then we're bringing the left leg back through center here. Pause it, and then tuck the toes onto the floor. So tuck those toes, push back through the left heel. Get your nice little calf stretch. And then you could choose also to give yourself a teeny core challenge by lifting that right knee up and in as you push the floor and stretch your calf. You're multitasking. And then you can let it go here, dropping that right knee if you lifted it. And then let's transition this into a supported side plank. So you can spin on the right knee, point the toes out to the right, drop the left heel, and the left hand comes up. Supported side plank again. Okay, I'll spin around to face you again. All right, supported side plank on the right side now. So now your right side is strong like a bridge, right? Lifting that right side actively up and away. Make sure you have some nice architecture here with your pillars positioned underneath the load, okay? Right arm and leg. And we're gonna start to ground that left heel, grounding the outside of the left foot, but lifting a little bit in the arch. Okay, so strengthening and grounding here, keeping your longest possible neck. We'll start to move the left shoulder. So activate your fingertips, energize them, electrify them, and we'll start to circle it out, big circles. So this is another place where if you have some differences, some asymmetries in your shoulders, which more than likely, you know, most people do. So more than likely you do. You'll notice it here, maybe. You might notice the left shoulder is looser than the right, and you carry more tension in your right shoulder. Okay. So reverse it here, push through the palm. Keep it active everywhere. All right. And now let's reach it up and just enjoy it for a little while. We've energized the lower part of our arch here, pushing against the floor. We've warmed up this left shoulder. So now you can incorporate elements of the chest opening where you look up at the sky and kind of peel open the left side of your chest. But you can also add a side bend to it by reaching the left hand away from the left foot. So play around here. Keep your long spine. And when in doubt, if you're not sure where to look, just look where it feels most comfortable. You can just check in with your spine, do whatever it wants. All right, coming down out of your supported side plank, take your time. You can drop that left hand back to the floor, spin it back to hands and knees. And then once more, let's come up to a little forward fold. So tucking your toes, lift your hips, walk your hands back to your feet. And again, just hang. This time, okay, we're a little warmer. Who knows, we might have a little extra space. Put a nice bend in your knees and grab onto your calves, okay? And then gently, so gently, hug your knees and your heart together. Okay, and the more you bend your knees and the more you let your head hang, the easier it's gonna be. So just flop here. Hug your legs. Remember to make your longest neck, so keep drawing your shoulder blades away from your ears. You can sway. Alrighty. From here, we're coming back down. So palms back to the floor. And this time, come through hands and knees, and then all the way down to your belly. Come on down. Right? You can get your hands back underneath your shoulders here, and point your elbows back away from you. Okay? And just rest your head on the floor. And just take a moment here and enjoying, kind of appreciating the length of your spine. Okay, with your forehead resting on the floor, we have a nice neutral open space in the back of the neck, hopefully. Okay, and we're able to echo that in the low back by lifting the low back slightly away from the floor. You could think of lifting your belly button if you like, okay? So that we create as much neutrality in the spine as we can, okay? And with that long neutral spine, grab the mat with your hands, okay? Gently pull those elbows in towards your ribs. And take a big breath in as you pull your heart up and open. I want you to really think of pulling rather than pushing. And only come as far up as you like. And you can look forward in your cobra shape. Okay, with your exhale, squeeze the elbows in and lower yourself down. Nice and simple little cobras. Let's take a few more. They're subtle, but they're wonderful. Inhale, pull back on your hands. Neutralize your spine as you lift your heart. And exhale, lower it down. So maybe you want to close your eyes. We're going to do a handful more. Don't feel like you have to count them.
Just nice and slow. Inhale up and exhale down. You only need to go as high as feels good. Maybe you just peel your heart a centimeter off the floor, and that's enough. Inhale up and exhale down. Okay. Now come on up for this one. Come on up to this cobra and hold. So maybe you don't come up as high because you know you're going to be holding it. And just look down and hold. Heart is lifted, breathing. Think of neutralizing and lengthening that spine to the best of your ability. And maybe start to float your hands and your legs, only if it feels nice. So take a few more breaths here. You're just using the strength in the back of your body to hover yourself off the floor. It could be the most minuscule hover and still be very powerful. And taking maybe 3 more breaths in your hover. Maybe try things like touching your toes together, touching your heels together, maybe even touching your knees together. What if you squeeze your elbows in towards your ribs? Making yourself into a very straight and long line. Maybe your last breath in here, get a little longer with your head and your toes. And then come down slowly, okay? Releasing your head to the floor. Come on down. Okay, arms out in a cactus shape here. Okay. Elbows pointing out away from your shoulders. And we'll get a little bit more into your shoulders here. Okay, should feel really nice. So we want to start with a really long neck, right? So do your best here, find that long neck. Shoulders moving away from the ears. And then you're going to look out to the left. Look to the left. Keeping your right arm in that right angle, that cactus arm, roll onto the right side. So roll onto your right side and just pause. You can rest your head here. Okay, so you could stay here. The left hand on the floor, head resting on the floor. So you just rolled into that right armpit, okay? So feel free to adjust the right elbow, put it where it feels just right. So it feels good in your armpit, good in your chest. And then we're gonna hold right here and breathe. If you need to come out, you can always just roll your chest back to the floor, okay? But we're gonna spend a few minutes here. So if you're ready to kind of tuck in to it and just kind of settle in, pull that right knee up a little bit so you have a little prop. And you can either keep your left hand just on the floor or you can reach it up, okay? Whatever feels best. Close your eyes here, just let go, breathe deeply. We do so much with our upper bodies, and the web that we weave around our shoulders, back, rib cage is so thick. So the deeper you can breathe into the right side here, the better. We're going to spend a couple more minutes here, okay? So if you need to come out early, just come out early, take a little break, okay? But if you're feeling pretty good here, you're going to activate the posture now. So we've been pretty passive in it so far. So now we're gonna activate it. Take your right hand, that's the one that you can't see, okay, the one behind your head, and push the floor with the right hand. Now hold and breathe right here. It doesn't have to be a lot of push that you give, okay? You only need to give a little bit here to get a lot. Breathe deeply into your whole upper body. Push the floor and keep breathing. Okay, maybe we're taking our last long, slow breath here. Okay, take your time. We're gonna straighten the bottom leg if you bent it and roll onto your belly here. And just take a moment back in your forehead down, cactus arms shape to let the blood flow return to your right arm like it was before. Notice if you feel any extra space that you might have found in that shoulder opener. Okay, as you're ready, look over to the right now, rolling onto your left side as you're ready. So same idea here, you've gotten into your left shoulder. So slide the elbow up or down to make it feel just right, the left elbow. And when you're exactly where you want it to be, then you commit by tucking the left knee under, and you can be more kind of stable here, kind of settling it. I will spin around to face you. So this is another posture where you'll notice if the shoulders are different, okay? Your left shoulder might want a completely different bend in the elbow, so that's totally fine. Sometimes your right elbow is gonna want a right angle and your left elbow is gonna want an acute angle in your elbow. So just don't worry about it. Just listen to your shoulders. They're different and they'll have different needs. Okay, if all is going well, you could reach up with the right hand. Some folks like to do that, okay? But once you feel more settled in, you feel like you've kind of gotten to know how the posture is feeling, then start to maybe push the floor with your left hand, the one behind your head. So when we activate this, what we're doing is we're just getting the absolute most effectiveness out of that left shoulder, chest, and back release all around the ribs. Push that floor with the hand. Almost like you intended to lift yourself up with it. Okay, taking maybe your last long, slow breath here. This is one that the longer you stay in it, the more release you can experiment with. Start to roll yourself out. No rush. And then again, take a little stop with your forehead on the floor and your cactus arms, letting the blood flow back into the left shoulder and arm more normally. Notice how it feels. Okay, as you're ready, you can bring your hands back underneath your shoulders and press yourself up to hands and knees. Okay, from here, sit your hips to the side and you can kick your legs around. You are seated now. Maybe some windshield wipers would be nice here. You can lean back on your hands, kind of windshield wiper your legs. So we did some really nice opening in the shoulders. Should feel like a great relief around your neck and ribs. Okay, next time your windshield wiper knees point up, just pause them there, okay? Feet are on the ground. You can take your hands underneath your shoulders behind you and point your fingers back at your hips, okay? Like they're right under your shoulders. And then you can bend your elbows and drop them all the way to the ground. So double check to make sure that your elbows are now under your shoulders, and you might need to make little adjustments. Okay. We want to start to lift the heart up away from the floor here. So you could, if you wanted, flip your palms up at you now that you're down on your elbows, or you could keep the palms down. It's really a matter of personal choice. But start to push down into your elbows as you lift your heart up, 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 up. And we're gonna breathe here. So you're feeling your rib cage rising up between your shoulder points, okay? Between the head of each shoulder. So lift the rib cage up. Think of dropping the shoulders down. Really broadening the space across your chest, okay? If this is nice and everything's feeling wonderful, once you feel more settled in, put a really nice tuck in your chin, like you're trying to look at your chest, okay? So really pronounced tuck in your chin here will give you very safe, neutral cervical spine so it doesn't overextend. So without overextending that neutral cervical spine, tuck your chin and start to drop the back of your head toward the mat. And breathe. So you need your chin tuck here to keep your neck safe. So keep it in, please. And breathe. The heart is still lifting. The shoulders are still moving down. Big space in the chest. And one more big breath here in fish pose with your big fish belly wide and open. And then, of course, you still have your chin tuck. So you're just going to pull your chin back towards your chest to come out safely with your neck really soft. Then you can move your elbows out from underneath you. Come on down to your back. Come on down. Okay, cactus arms again here, this time open to the ceiling or the sky. Okay, and let's get the knees up and in by just kind of tucked in by your chest. And we'll start to just hover the knees side to side. Hover to one side, hover to the other. Okay, this should feel like a really nice low back release, hopefully. A massage on your glutes and your hips, because we did work your hips a little bit today. Okay, next time the knees drop to the right, pause them there, and just let them fall all the way to the floor. Okay, and then you roll all the way to face to the right as well. So laying on your right side. Okay, I like to call this the sandwich shape. I find a nice little stacking feeling. Your whole left side is stacked precisely over your right, hips and shoulders, knees and hands. Okay, and then make your longest neutral spine. So you'll notice your head is kind of dipping down toward the floor. So lengthen the neck, okay, and lift that right side. Just doing your best to stay neutral. Little mouse hole under the right side, just enough lift. Okay, we'll use the left fingers here to draw a big half circle on the floor. So as big as you can, draw a half circle over your head on the floor until you're reaching all the way out to the left. And then we're going to bring it all the way back around, tracing the same half circle backwards all the way to the right. So let's take a few more like that. I think it's nice to inhale when you open it to the twist. And exhale when you close it up to the sandwich shape. Okay, this is a nice one to just close your eyes and just move. Just move and breathe. Enjoy the feeling of
twisting and returning. So because we just opened your shoulders quite a bit, this might feel really nice. You might notice some extra spaciousness as you reach out across your chest. I sure do. Remember to keep your chest always lifting and open here. Okay, as if you're trying to lift your heart up away from the floor to avoid something behind your back. Maybe there's an acorn under your back you're trying to avoid. Okay, so let's enjoy the twist. So open up to that twist, looking out to the left, and let's just be here. So remember, lifting your heart up away from the floor. There's a little rock or a pine cone under your back, and you need to just lift up away from it. Feel that spaciousness in your chest and breathe deeply here. Twists are so magically healing and recalibrating and detoxifying. Maybe taking your last breath here. And then as you're ready, you can just bring your knees through center here, through your twist, and drop them all the way to the left. So drop them over there. Drop your whole self onto your left side, looking out to the left. Okay? So stack everything up nicely. Lift that left side. Make your little mouse hole under the left side and lengthen that spine to your best. Okay? And now the right hand is going to draw a circle over your head, half circle, reaching out to the right. Okay, big twist. And then bring it back over to the left. So I find it really challenging to keep the spine neutral here, and the best way that I've come up with to hack that is to keep that heart lifting. So put a little imaginary rock under your back, your upper back, and keep the back slightly off the floor to avoid that little pebble. And you're gonna wanna try to ground the shoulders though. So a little challenge in the upper body, maybe. Close your eyes here, use your really big breath. All right, so let's hold this next one. Next time you come up and open to the twist, looking to the right, hold it, breathe. Okay, lift that rib cage up away to avoid that little pebble. Do your best to drop your shoulder blades though. I know that's challenging. Breathe into it and lengthen your neck. All right, such a great twist. Just really massaging your whole torso there. As you're ready, roll your knees back through center. This is a great time to give yourself a hug. You can hug your knees in towards your chest. Really smushing your low back onto the floor. You might even rock around on it a little bit. Okay, you might even separate your knees here and make some little circles, opposite circles with each knee. And of course, rewind those. You can drop your feet. Okay. Coming all the way down to your Shavasana. You can slide your legs out long, flip your palms up, and just relax here. In your final resting pose, just enjoy being present in the moment, just as it is. Let the breath and the body become natural and soft and effortless. Let every little sound and sensation that you experience right now become part of your connection to what is. Connecting with this moment is powerful because it connects you with the past and the future. So please keep resting just like this for as long as you can. Thanks so much for joining.